everyone, we're gonna get started. Thank you so much for being here today to knock on doors to get as many voters as we can to commit to vote for Paula for Congress this November. My name is Laura and I'm an organizer with Paula for Congress. I'm involved in Paula's campaign because she's committed to improving education in our district and in our country. So in today's training, we're gonna go over a few things. We're first gonna talk about why we're canvassing and what to say and who those voters are and how to talk to them using our script. We are also going to make sure we understand how to use the script in the way that's most comfortable in your own voice. And finally, how to use the materials you have to have the most effective conversations at the door. I'm gonna ask that you save all of your questions till the end so we can get through this training as quickly as we can. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Awesome. So before we get started, it's important to know why we're here today knocking on doors. You might already know this, but I'm gonna repeat it. We know that talking to voters at the door face to face is the most effective way to get them to turn out to vote. In fact, when we talk to targeted voters like we're going to today, for every 100 conversations, we get 8 more votes on the day of the election. So that's why in a close race like this, it's so important. Every door knock, every vote counts. All right, so let's talk about our script, and I'm gonna make sure you all have a copy. If you can pass that out. So you should all have a script that you can follow along with. It's important to know these scripts, we've tested them to make sure they're the most effective language in talking to voters. So it's important to stick to these scripts. However, at the end of this presentation, we are gonna have a chance for you to role play so you can find the way it fits most comfortably in your own voice. Just to be clear, today we're talking to targeted voters. So a targeted voter is somebody that has been talked to by another volunteer just like you. We know they support Paula, but we're not 100% sure they're gonna come out and vote on election day. So it's really important to have this conversation for that additional motivation and making sure they show up. So when you get to the door, you wanna start with an introduction. So you could say, "Hi, I'm Laura and I'm a volunteer with Paula for Congress. I understand you support Paula, is that correct?"
Yes.
Awesome, thank you. So we are assuming that everyone is a supporter for the candidate. If the person is undecided or they support our opposition, we thank them for their time and move on. We're not spending time convincing voters today. Now, if they answer yes, you wanna say, "Thank you for your support. It'll mean so much for us this November to have your vote," and you want to move straight into your hard ask. It's important to be unafraid and to use firm language. Can we count on your vote on November 6th? Is it okay if I ask you to hold that question till the very end so we can get through this? Awesome, thank you. If they say no or they're uncommitted to voting, we want to see if there's another way we can push them to vote. So you could say something like, "I know my friends and family will be proud that I voted for Paula, and I hope that you too can be part of this historic movement." And if they're still a no, thank them and move on. Now, once they've said yes, you want to make a vote plan. So this vote plan is going to say when they're going to vote, where they're going to vote, if they have anyone who's coming with them. Just saying it out loud makes people so much more likely to show up to the polls. So you want to be specific in your language. You can say things like, "I know you're busy, I'm really busy too, but when I have something in my calendar, I have a specific plan and I can make sure I commit and show up to vote. Election day is November 6th. Are you gonna vote in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening? At what time? Do you know where your polling place is?" And you actually are gonna have their polling place on your list, so you'll be able to reference that. You wanna get as specific as possible with them. And finally, if they're really excited about Paula, we want to ask them if they would be a volunteer and join our campaign, a great way to get a further commitment from someone. Okay, so now that we've gone through our script, we're going to have a chance to break up into pairs and do a role play of a door knock conversation. So actually you can break up into pairs. So the first person is going to be the canvasser and the next person is going to be the voter. And then you're going to spend 2 minutes going through the script and then switch. Sound good? All right, let's get started.
Hi.
Hi.
All right, great job, Grace and Dana. That was an awesome role play. Now that we've had a chance to practice our scripts, I want to make sure you guys understand the walk packets and the walk sheets you're going to have when you go out. So you're going to have a packet. It'll have a map, and it'll have a walk sheet and other information, and you're going to have a list that looks like this. So you're going to have information about your voters. You'll have their name, you'll have their age, their address, their political party, if they voted in recent elections. So you have all that demographic information. Then you're also going to have a lot of response columns, which is what we're going to talk through now. The first piece, you want to make sure they're home or not, right? If you knocked and no one's home, you can mark not home. If they've moved, you can mark moved. If they've refused, which means they're actually pretty hostile and really don't want to talk to you, you can mark that down. Now, if you do talk to the voter, you want to ask 4 things and mark those down. So first, are they a supporter of Paula? So that would be yes, no, undecided. Are they going to vote on November 6th? So yes or no, right? And then also, if they're going to vote, what time are they voting? So write that in. Finally, if they want to be a campaign volunteer, you can mark that down as well. Before we get out there and start knocking on doors, I want to highlight a few best practices, our do's and don'ts. So our goal is to have as many high quality conversations as we can. So this means you gotta move quickly. So if you knock on a door, wait 30 seconds. If no one answers, move on to the next one. Also, keep your conversations to 2 minutes or less. We all know that person who loves to talk, but if you have someone like that, thank them and politely end the conversation and move on so we can get to more voters. Use intentional and respectful body language when you're talking to people, so keep your bag and your things by your side, engaging in eye contact with your voters so they feel comfortable. And now, one thing to know is that we do not leave our campaign literature, our flyers for Paula, in the mailbox. That's actually against the law. You can leave it in the door jamb, under the mat. You can leave it inside a screen door, somewhere that's visible, the voter will see without being in their mailbox. And it's really important that you finish your walk packet today because we need to talk to as many people as we can by Election Day and get our supporters out to vote. But with all that, it's important to have fun. This is a lot of hard work and we really appreciate you being here. And we should be proud of what we're doing. You know, don't get discouraged if not everyone talks to you. You should maybe expect that 20% of people are going to answer their door, and that's normal. The point is that we have hundreds of volunteers just like you across our district talking to people throughout the district over the next few weeks. In a close race like this, every single knock counts. So that's really all I have for the training. We're gonna make sure we sign out materials to you guys. You're gonna have turf or your walk areas. So make sure you have everything you need, right? A map, a walk sheet, literature, clipboards, pens, grab water, a granola bar. If you have any questions, anything comes up while you're walking, text me, call me, let us know. We're here for you. But without that, I think we're ready to go. You guys excited? Yeah. Bye.